Hello everybody and welcome to Sunday's edition of Wardy's Waffle. Hope you're all having a decent week. A lot of people I see on social media have got a lot of harvesting finished by now. We have had a good week. You saw the update, midweek update where we're doing the oats. This update we're going to be looking at the last field of spring barley. That's a field for seed, so we go into a bit of detail about that. Then all we've got left to do next week are the normal beans and then the navy beans or the baked beans that will turn out. But whether those baked beans will be ready next week, I'm not quite sure. I think it might be beginning of the week after. We have sprayed them off. We haven't used glyphosate. We've used a chemical called Spotlight. And I'm sorry, I wasn't around when Ruben did that, so I haven't got a clip of Ruben doing that. Just to touch on that, I've had one or two people say after the last video when Eric from Warwick University was with us and we were talking about spraying off the crops, I've had one or two people say they can't believe that we're spraying off crops for harvesting and then they're going to eat them. The products we use are all safe, but I would just remind you that the beans that are currently for sale in the UK, Heinz baked beans at the moment, all those are imported from Canada, America and China, and they will be using products that we are not allowed to use because they're banned here. So you'll be already eating food that has been treated with products that are deemed unsafe in the UK. We're not allowed to use those. So when we say we're pre-harvest treating crops to ripen them, we do them far enough in front so the residue levels in the food are non-existent, and we all follow all the safe practices. Don't worry, everything we do is safe and the food we produce is amongst the healthiest in the world. Anyway, just to touch on this update, besides the barley, I'm stood in a crop here. This is our one of our stewardship plots. I'll just show turn the camera around so I want to get my words out, and just show you that in a second. But this looks a lot better than the one we were looking at in the update on Wednesday night. Also, last week I was in a local village at Harmston near Lincoln, which is, I was in the village pub just having a glass of wine with some friends and Rhonda, and we were, obviously Harmston is next door village to Waddington, and this RAF Waddington is where the Red Arrows were based. And we just sat there in the pub garden and the Red Arrows came smack over the top of our head doing a practice, and this is the one that they were practicing.
What about that?
So there, isn't that fantastic? It's great when you live only 9 miles away from where the Red Arrows are based, because we see them quite regularly over the farm and practicing in the skies here. And that move you've just seen really was very, very special and never ceases to amaze us, even though we see them quite regularly. Anyway, that's it for this update. Let's get on with it. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you at the end. So just looking at this stewardship plot, it really has romped on. Yes, there's a bit of some weeds in it, but there's also an awful lot of, and some thistles as well, you can see there, but really growing quite well now. But yeah, we've got some sterile brome there and some black grass in it as well, which you don't want, but we'll spray this off early next spring before it seeds. So this plot's looking a lot better. Just looking here as well at some of the land we cultivated. This has been cultivated now 10 days. We've just got the hedges cut the last couple of days, so they're all done now, you can see, which is good. Just got those trimmed, and this land was soloed after wheat. You can just see the volunteer wheat's just starting to grow. You can just see there, but that's fine, not a problem. We'll let it grow a bit more, and then we'll spray it with the low rate of glyphosate before the crop's established, because it's great. This is why we do this, because it means we can kill all these weeds and kill all this before we plant the next crop. So it means the new crop won't be contaminated. So all these weeds and volunteer cereals will be controlled. You can just see now there's a gradual green tinge all the way across the field, and this is what's littered out the back of the combine. Even if the small grains and chip grains, some of them grow. We're combining the last remaining field of cereals, which is barley. It's a seed crop. Just look at the colour of it. You can see the green tinge to it. That's because there's a lot of regrowth, but we couldn't spray it off or do anything with it because it's a seed crop, and that would affect the germination. When you look at the stubbles, you can just see a tinge of green again. can see there, this is all regrowth out of the stubbles, and the spring crops have been like that this year. And you look here in the standing crop and it just looks terrible. Look at the green ears there. But all these have to go through the combine. It will shrivel up, it will sort of dry up in the heap, and they'll come to nothing. This is the field we had late lifted sugar beet last year. The sugar beet wasn't harvested till December. Remember, it was wet, and we had to drag it on the frost to get it cultivated, ready to plant the barley crop. See there, you get a great view of what it's like, how green it is and how unfit it is. But for a day like today with all the sun, it's what we really need to combine it. You can tell by the way the straw's spreading, there's clumps of wet straw coming out there, and that's the green bit, which is obviously these bits like this. It's those coming out the back of the combine and the chopper. And this is the end of the same field that we're combining. Remember, we couldn't plant this because it stood in water all the time, and this is where Tom nearly got stuck with the drill, and we can just see a hole just in there. But we have soloed this once, but we'll probably do it again and get it all broken up properly. And then this field is coming, I don't know whether it's coming beans or probably winter wheat again. Just looking at some of these lumps, this is what our land's so good at. When it bakes out hard and dry and then gets rain on it, look how it's all crumbly. It just crumbles, just falls apart when it gets moisture. That's a smaller lump, that's a prime example. When you look at that, just all breaks up and then gets more water in these cracks, and it'll just crumble and work really well. So in the combine now with Ruben, and can't quite see it so much green from up here, but when you look, you just tell there's a lot of ears that are not bent over. It's not feeding ever so well in the combine. Doing 4 kilometres an hour. This is the yield map at the minute. This is field view system. This is the breed we're on, where the combine is. The one below it there, the orange one, is that one where there's a tram line. So it just shows there's not as much grain coming off everyone where there's a tram line, which is that one there, and then you go 3 more and there's one there as well. So it's the tram lines not getting as much grain. You can see at the top there the yields. You've got instant on the left, average of the field on the right. Forget the moistures, we don't do that because it's never accurate. Shows the field size, tons off it down there, header height, various other things there. So this is the field scale, the different colours down there. You can see that's the footpath, that's the public footpath that goes across the middle of the field as well. Headlands, you can see there, very thin, not a lot off there where it's red, off that side. And then this, we've had to fallow the perimeter of the field there because it was too wet when we planted the crop. So that's the last strip left. Get to the end, that's all the cereals done, just the beans to do then, and then the navy beans or baked beans as well. See, that shows where we are at the end of the field there. Just a narrow strip left to do. Anyway, I can see the lifters now, the white things that I've been mentioning. They run on the ground and they pick up any laid over barley, so they're all working in the bottom there. You can't see them, but they do help where it's necked over like this and laid. The footpath you can see across the field. We've just gone past it on the screen there. So that's the last bit of the cereal harvest, thank goodness. Putting it in a new contract tipper, it'll only hold probably barley, maybe 10 or 11 tons. That's all empty in the tank. So just showing you these lifters close up, you can see how they clip on. There's a special bolt underneath here, every fourth finger, and it slots in the bolt and then it hooks over the point there. There's a special clip, and then this spring loads, and you can see by the colour here they run on the ground, and you can see them springing, and then it brings the crop up. That's why you can see all the paint off here, brings it up and over into the knife. But they do snap off sometimes, and they go through the combine. You can see there's odd ones bent. There's one there that's bent there, and you can see down the line they're not all in the same line because they do get tweaked a bit, but they do a job. They're cheap, and they do help, but we only use them when we've got laid corn. It's there, as you see, one missing here. There's the nut. Actually, the nut's broken there, and there should be one on there, and that's broken off, and it's lost in the field somewhere. This is how you get a combine through a gap in the hedge that isn't quite wide enough, by skewing it round and tipping the header and shunting round the hedge corner. There we go. And over the top of the hedge, that side. We're just packing 3 trailers in. We didn't tip the last 3 trailers, and we've got a full one there. We've got another full one here, and then we're just trying to squeeze them in. And then we've got that contract tipper. Is, if you can see, no, it's full as well, so we're just trying to squeeze it in. Another 2 feet, Tom. Keep coming. Bit more. Bit more. That'll do. Just the job. We'll sort these out after the party on Monday. We've got to just work out where we can put them. Sorry, when I say put them, that's put the barley in the shed. Because we're just trying to find somewhere to put it. Where all the other sheds are full, because it's seed, we've got to keep it separate. So combine's just going back in the workshop, as it does quite a lot at the minute. It's great to keep machinery under cover when we're not using it. So that's going back in there. We won't want it till next week, till the beans. So the slight, I wouldn't say dilemma, but the slight issue we've got with this barley is because it's seed, and for those of you non-farmers, what that means is we've grown a very, very high quality grade of barley seed, and it's on a contract with Agri, and the 70 odd tons, 72, no, maybe a bit more, 73 or 4 tons that's come off it, which some of it is here, will be sold to other farmers next year for them to use for seed. Bit complicated, but there's various grades of seed, and the C1 grade, the C2, most farmers will grow C2, will plant C2 seed to make, say, a normal crop, which is that big heap in the background, and C1 is new seed, but this is sort of basic seed. So this is 2 grades before farmer's seed, so it's very, very high quality seed, so it has to be kept separate from the rest of it so it's not contaminated. And we haven't got enough room in this shed, so I'll just flip the camera around and just show you why. At the back here we've got our own barley, variety Laureate. That's going to Molson Coors Brewery at Burton-on-Trent. Now here is the seed. So we've got a metre or 2 gap here, but this is the high quality seed that will go to Agri about November time to be processed and sold to other farmers. But we hadn't got enough room in here to tip those other 3 trailers that you've just seen. So we're going to take it up to the other farm, I think up to the heath. And the shed that we were going to use for the beans is going to have this barley in it, and our beans are going to go just across the road, hopefully into one of William's sheds, because I think because beans generally are yielding so poor, we'll be able to get them all in William's shed. Showing you the green grain that you've just seen being harvested. You can see it in the heap when you look at that there. Ruben's just putting the Manitou away. we're just going to go round to the garden and have a beer. It's the end of the cereal harvest, so we're just going to go and have a sit down, for it's so hot today. Just going to have a beer or two in the garden. We've finished work for the day. Yeah, just looking at this, when you look at the grains, you can just see there the green grains in it. There's a lot of green in there, which they'll just shrivel up to nothing, and then they'll all dress out. When this seed here goes through a treatment plant, those green ones will be really small and they'll all shrivel up. But as you can see in here, no matter where you put your hand in the heap, you can just see the amount of green grain there is. There's some. Just putting a header in the old workshop. Plenty of room here. Keep coming, Tom. It's Saturday, early mid-afternoon. You can see final preparations getting ready for our housewarming party. The band are just doing a few sound checks and getting ready. We're moving tables and chairs, getting ready for hopefully a great night. Weather will be absolutely superb. If anything, because of the temperature, it's going to be 22 degrees at 10 p.m. at night. We didn't need a marquee, but when I had to decide on the marquee, it was about 10 days ago, and it was only going to be 12 degrees at night, which was too cold to eat outside and sit outside. Anyway, it's one of those things. We've got the sides all open. We've got half the tables and chairs outside as well. So that will be great to just have a great night here and just celebrate what a fantastic job everybody's done building the house and celebrating that with friends. Just an update on the grass here. I've had to, you can see here, this is Nala and Frankie. I don't know what to do about this. People say that if you put a little squirt of tomato ketchup in the food, the vinegar or whatever it is in the ketchup counteracts the acid in the wee. So any things on that, please come back to me. Any tips? We've got some little stones you put in the water. They don't seem to be working. So any tips on these marks, please let me know. The robot mower. Yeah, the robot mower at the minute hasn't worked for a week. So the robot mower hasn't worked for a week because I edited the map last week, and it's been running on Bluetooth the last week because we haven't had Wi-Fi at the new house, which is just obviously here. We've now got Wi-Fi fitted, and I need to connect the mower up to Wi-Fi. When I was editing the map, because the boundary wasn't done accurately enough, I had to be within Bluetooth range of the mower from my phone, the app I've got on my phone. And I've edited it lots of times and it's worked, but I think the last time I edited it last Saturday, I was too far off the mower, and when I clicked save, it saved the map on my phone but not the mower. So instantly then the mower now has got a different map to my phone, to the app on my phone. So they don't recognise, and every time I try and start the mower, it comes up with map error. So I'm now going next week, now we've got Wi-Fi in the house, I'm going to try and get Wi-Fi installed on the mower. We've got good Wi-Fi here, and hopefully that will rectify it. You can see this grass looks good now because I actually cut it all by hand last night. Because it hadn't been cut for a week with the robot, I thought I better just trim it off and even it all up. So I did it on a fairly high setting and did it all last night. Looks really good. Thank you again to Simon and Tiller's Turf for this turf football pitch. The rest of this area, this is a remnants of what went to West Ham, so thank you for that, much appreciated. Anyway, just you can see setting up there. We'll just go and see the band actually and just see what they're doing. Just doing some final sound checks. So it's 5:30 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm just editing this video, but unfortunately I'm laid on the sofa because I couldn't get upstairs last night. We had a great party last night, but unfortunately at the very last minute of the last dance, I was flying around on the dance floor and I've gone and torn my calf muscle, I think. I can't move, I can't put any weight on it at all, so Rhonda's going to take me to hospital shortly. Thank you to everybody who helped me last night. Ollie and girlfriend Charlotte were there, and also Charlotte, Ashley and Roy, thank you for your help, and Martin Williams. I had to be carried in last night to the office, and also when I came home after home, good friends John and Tim helped me in here, carried me into the house, so thank you for that. But yeah, I had a great night, but this has unfortunately just taken the edge off it for me. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this video. I hope I'll be able to do one for you on Wednesday, where we'll be into the beans. That's not the baked beans. This will be the ordinary beans we're going to be doing, but hopefully I can do it. I'll just have to see what damage I've done to my calf, but I'm going to go to hospital shortly. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and thanks for supporting these videos, and all being well, we'll see you midweek.